The people who hate Citizens United are actually some of the people right now who are benefiting from it most. Let's say you're very upset with the current state of the world. You want to see things change and you want to have your voice heard in the upcoming election. So you decide you're going to film a documentary. You hire a bunch of people, you get a camera, and because you have such good business sense, you set up an LLC to run your business through. You put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you come out with your documentary and you advertise it in the days leading to the election, and the FEC slaps you with a fine. Is that what we want in a free society? That's exactly what happened to the nonprofit corporation at the center of Citizens United, which is a massively unpopular case and yet widely misunderstood. Citizens United was a nonprofit corporation that wanted to advertise and disseminate its movie, Hillary the Movie, in the days leading up to the Democratic primaries in 2008. But at the time, the FEC prohibited what it calls electioneering, the expenditure of corporate money on advocacy for political candidates 30 days before a primary or 60 days before an election. So Citizens United sues on the theory that the FEC rule violates its First Amendment rights. The FEC rule did not apply to anyone else. It only applied to corporations and unions. So individuals were free to spend money, other groups are allowed to spend money, but this law specifically targets corporations and unions. And Citizens United argues that you don't lose your constitutional rights just because you choose to spend money on political advocacy together in a group. Everybody shares that First Amendment right to express themselves on political matters, especially in the days leading up to an election. In the Citizens United opinion, Justice Kennedy rejects the government's rationale for limiting corporate speech in this way. He says that there's no compelling interest in restricting political advocacy because it doesn't have to do with something like ensuring there's no quid pro quo between corporations and politicians. It doesn't get at direct campaign contributions. So you really can't say that it's about reducing corruption. Instead, the government had argued that when corporations spend money on political advocacy, they were just going to drown other people out, and that because they had so much money behind their ideas, people were going to be persuaded by it, that idea was going to win the day. But the court says that's not a good enough reason. People don't lose their First Amendment rights just because the government says that they've spoken enough, that they've had enough turn in front of the microphone. Instead, we allow those corporations to continue speaking, and we should expect our citizens to evaluate those ideas critically and to reject them regardless of their corporate backing. And anyway, in today's world, the world is so much flatter for communication. You can easily have your voice heard right alongside the people who put a ton of money into their speech because of things like social media. Justice Kennedy just didn't buy the government's rationale that corporations needed to be targeted. The decision applies to corporations, but corporations aren't just McDonald's or Starbucks. Corporations are small mom and pop shops. They are churches. They are nonprofits. Citizens United itself was a nonprofit corporation. And so when we protect speech by corporations, we protect speech from a wide range of individuals who organize themselves in various ways and have a variety of viewpoints. But I think also this entire endeavor, the idea that people don't like speech by particular entities, goes to show the value in Citizens United. Citizens United stands for the proposition that the government doesn't get to target the speech of speakers that it doesn't like because it thinks that those speakers' speech is not valuable or is distorting the marketplace of ideas in some way. Instead, we allow the marketplace of ideas to thrive, and that more speech is better than less. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, comment below if you too love Citizens United, or even if you don't. And if you want to see more, subscribe and ring the bell.